Folks, in this new series which we have started winding up, it is about evolution of your purpose. We're asking the question, does purpose evolve, or can your purpose evolve? The answer is yes. Not just the purpose, but even you do evolve as you engage in this life. And therefore, what we're trying to grapple with is, if purpose does evolve indeed, how can we position ourselves so that we can take advantage of that evolution? Are we even involved in the evolution itself? Of course, we have to be involved. It doesn't just happen arbitrarily. It doesn't happen automatically. We've got to be involved in it. And we've started looking at some of the ways in which we can position ourselves so that we can start benefiting on this evolution. And we mentioned one yesterday, and I want us to mention another one today, so that we can keep learning. As we learn how to discover this purpose and how to stay patient with it and how to deploy it and all that stuff. So let us add one more nugget today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Life Signatures episodes are brought to you by africanbooks.com, which is an online ebook platform that seeks to broadcast the African Christian voice to the world. As such, they have become a hub for African content, connecting African writers and publishers with a global reading audience. Publishing your books on their site is free and easy, with authors having full control over their content and the price they choose to sell at it. I was personally blown away by the concept that africanbooks.com is coming up with. Things like no content from their site or their app is going to be run on laptops so that people can easily copy. In other words, your content as a writer is restricted from digital multiplication or digital copying. So you remain intact with your information. And the other concept that I got so blown away with was the fact that in some time to come, in due course, africanbooks.com will be starting to announce African Writer of the Year. In other words, there will be competitions in all African countries to figure out who is the best published author. And I also fell in love with the fact that countries can actually compete against each other. We can have African authors going at it after each other, and your book as an author will be reviewed and have some stars and recommended upon that particular platform. The thing is that it's an answer to Amazon.com. You know, with Amazon, what happens? You've got to have an account in the Americas or whatever, or in Europe, before you can get paid as an author. But here, the local currency is in play and the local means of getting paid are in play. So to get started, go to africanbooks.com as an author or as a publisher, and even as a reader if you wanted to read your African favorite authors. Enjoy. It is a fact that you will evolve and your purpose is going to evolve even as you involve yourself in the process of discovering it, owning it, and deploying it. Those are three things about purpose. You discover it first. I have been insisting of late that for the most part, if you sit back and wait for it to be revealed, it might not be revealed. There is a process of discovery, which we've talked about asking, which is prayer, and then we've talked about seeking, which is inquest, and we've talked about knocking, which is stewardship, doing something that is in front of you. That is where the evolution begins. It begins from nothing to what is already available in the vicinity. It begins from nothing to seeking to what is available in the vicinity, putting it into practice, and then the evolution begins. You start tweaking with what you have. God himself, when he's sending people out there, he doesn't send people empty-handed. In fact, he normally asks this question: what is it that you have in your hands? He uses what you have in your hands and he multiplies it, or he facilitates whatever it is that he connects the destiny that you're looking for with what you have originally, because God did not send us here empty-handed. There are some things we have in terms of our desires, in terms of passion, in terms of gifts, in terms of talent, in terms of personality, in terms of our spirits, in terms of our hearts. We are never blank as far as purpose and passion is concerned. We have something that we can be able to offer, something that can evolve. That's why the seed principle is very critical in creation. God did not create everything and finish everything and left nothing for man to use, or man to grow with, or man to increase the capacity with. In fact, even man himself wasn't created in 7 billion. It was one person with a seed, and then that seed is planted into a woman's womb and becomes 2, becomes 3, and that's how the world develops. There is an evolution. When I talk about evolution, some people will start thinking about Charles Darwin. I'm not talking about Charles Darwin and with these things of newts over 7 billion, 24 billion, hundreds of billions of years. To be able to justify evolution, you need a lot of years where there was no one there to prove that it started. Anyway, there is an evolution of your purpose, and there is an evolution of yourself in this world, even as you start seeking that particular purpose. Therefore, the mistake you can do is to sit back and do nothing, waiting for the purpose to come fully formed. It doesn't. It will never. It never comes fully formed. You will have to go through the process of discovery, and then even once you've discovered that process and you've discovered a hint or some kind of clarity of what that purpose is, it's going to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to become clearer and clearer and clearer even as you continue. So the first thing that you need to do, if you're going to position yourself so that you can evolve together with the purpose and you can leverage on the evolution of your purpose, number one, what do? You make sure that you are in motion while you are yet seeking. When you have not discovered what your purpose is, don't be a guy who does nothing. Do something, even if it's not connected to your purpose. You will never know until you put your hands onto it. If you hate it, then of course you will know. But if you have some kind of nonchalance with it and whatever it is, you will still be evolving. You'll still be navigating through this life. So number one, be in motion while seeking. Number two, which I want us to talk about today, be patient but stay focused. I think the biggest problem we have in terms of purpose discovery and even deployment and even owning, it is impatience. That's the biggest deal. Why are we impatient? Because our mode of operation, the way we've been raised up, and the status quo dictates. This is what it dictates. That everything that you do must earn you something at the end of 30 days. If it doesn't, it's not worth pursuing. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, purpose is not something that is going to earn you at the end of 30 days. It's something that's going to earn you longer than 30 days, maybe 100 and maybe 300 days or whatever it is. 600 days, maybe it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. For the most part, averagely is 10 years. That being said, I am not saying that you sit back also and you just become nonchalant and do nothing waiting for 10 years to elapse. No, the 10 years is predicated on what you're going to do. So you are doing the purpose, but you are patient with it. You are sticking with it. You are not dumping it and say, this thing doesn't work, and you stop pursuing it. Yeah, you might need to do a lot of balancing. You might need to do other unrelated things to support yourself, to earn a living and to put food on the table and clothes on your back and pay some bills. But you don't entirely dump your purpose and go and do other things. That's where the evolution is. The evolution is in the doing. It's kind of like putting a seed in the ground and you are impatient that it's not sprouting, so you dig it up. You don't do that with purpose. You leave it to germinate. And even if it germinates, you leave it to mature. You leave the stem to grow and to mature and to become strong, and you leave it to start flowering, and you leave it to start yielding, and you give it some time even for the yield to ripen, and then you harvest. It's an evolution. It's a process. The worst mistake, like I said, that I did with my passion and my purpose was to wait. Sit back and wait, doing nothing. It will get clearer. This purpose will get clearer even as you engage it. Much like gold is created over time. Coal is created over time. Diamonds are created over time through what? Through pressure. It's an evolution. Gold doesn't... I don't think gold was created on day one. We know the process of gold being created. It wasn't done on earth on day one, unless I get my facts wrong. It is through a process. It wasn't like gold is not something that was created by God. God created the raw materials for gold, and gold evolved. Oh Lord, have mercy on me. I'm discovering some things even as I speak. You will also face disappointments even as you go. Just the same way that it takes long for gold to form, you're going to face disappointments as you go, and at times you will question. In fact, you're going to question very many times, am I doing the right thing? I have questioned even as late as this year. Am I doing the right thing? I have questioned my intellect. I have looked at how other people who have less intellect, less intelligence, earning much more than I am and having fun in this life. I'm thinking, am I being intelligent in sticking with this purpose thing? You're gonna question it at some point in time. But even as you do question, and let me tell you this, the most healthiest purpose seeker is the one who questions that purpose itself. Not just once, but on a continuous basis. You destroy your assumptions continuously, reconstruct them, and that's the process of believing. Actually, if you're a believer in the Bible, if you're a believer in Scripture, if you're a believer in the resurrection, in Jesus Christ, you need to be so open to questions and to destroying your assumptions, the ones that you've been taught. It is open. I mean, God is not scared of you destroying your assumptions and questioning Him and questioning His existence. I know there is faith. We need to have faith, but it's not blind and knowledgeable faith. The Bible actually tells us the process of people believing. It says, how will they believe unless someone has sent to them to tell them? And how will they be told if someone is not sent to them? Someone has got to go, and then someone has got to say something and teach them something, and then the belief is activated. We don't believe on nothing. We believe on knowledge. We believe on information. So anyway, you need to question. You need to keep getting much more knowledge, getting clearer, and that's the process of evolution. And believe me, you would rather be lost on this path of your purpose than not take this path at all. You would rather be, stuck, so to speak, on the path of purpose than not get on the path in the first place. So stay patient. Do not jump ship. Don't jump from one thing to another. We are so adept at this. Don't jump from one thing or another. Someone comes to an interview room and they have a battalion of certificates totally unrelated. I've done information technology, I've done sales and marketing, I've done whatever it is that I have done, and they come to your interview thinking they're going to impress you. You're looking at them, you're like, who are you? You are all over the place. You are not patient with one thing. Go deeper into one thing. Purpose is about depth. It's about depth. It's about sticking with something for long. Know that purpose is a lifetime thing. It's not something you're going to graduate from. I have said a gazillion times on these episodes, you're going to graduate from other things and onto purpose. Each day is important in opening up the clarity of your purpose. It counts. It's basically like when you start felling down a tree with an axe. Which hit was the most important to felling down that tree? Is it the first one or the last one or the one in the middle? It was all of them. Therefore, every single day matters. Be patient and keep questioning as you go. Don't be a fool who doesn't question. Patience dictates that you are on the right path, and so you keep questioning even as you go. As this happens, that's when the evolution of your purpose continues growing. Sometimes you'll not even sense it. You'll not even know it. You don't even realize it. But the evolution is taking place. Tomorrow, we will look at another thing that you can be able to do as your purpose evolves. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.